Come, Sulochana. Sit down. Sulochana, this is your first attempt and you have made it to the interview stage. Very good. Congratulations for that.
Thank you, sir.
And we see from your biodata that you are very young, and if you get into service, it will be at very young age, which means you will go right up to the top.
Maybe the first lady cabinet secretary.
Wow.
Thank you, sir.
So congratulations again for that.
Thank you, sir.
You were initially little nervous when you entered the room, but subsequently you gained confidence and you were quite good. Cool and composed later on, and at ease. You have good personality, you talk well, and we were quite impressed by your knowledge base also. You have done reasonably well. You still have another 20 days, 15, 20 days to go for your interview. So whatever deficiencies are there, you can cover up. But by and large, you are a very good candidate with lot of potential, and we see a bureaucrat in you, future bureaucrat in you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay? So you will do well. Now, as far as my questions are concerned, I asked you 3 questions, all opinion-based questions. First one was marriage age for girls. So, you know, when such questions are asked, whatever view you present, the member, in order to upset you or to see how deeply you understand the issue, will present a counter view. That, what about this? What about that? So, if you are well prepared, then you should be able to deal with that. And you should stick to the stand that you have taken without being argumentative. Don't start quarreling with the member, but you can express your views and you can support it with arguments. However, if the member still persists in giving a different view, then you must know when to withdraw. Then you say, sir, this is what I know, maybe I have to read more. Okay? Don't argue with the member. Otherwise, you are very good, and you must also know the pros and cons. So, if you get an opportunity, you can express both views. Like I asked you about marriage age for girls. So, you can say, yes, it's a very good step as you were mentioning. But it will definitely, some religious leaders may not support this because it goes against personal law. However, it would be advisable to take best practices from different religions and let us progress in that way. And you have given a very good example, triple talaq, right?
So my view about, sorry sir.
No, view is your own. Whatever view you have, whether it's a good step or a bad step, that I am not interfering with. That view you have to formulate yourself. But whatever view you hold, you should be able to give reasons for that. That is what is important. There is no clear-cut answer for this, that this view is right or this view is wrong. Nothing like that. Both views may be right, because there are pros and cons to every proposal. Then I asked you about CUET, entrance test. So yes, you should be aware that this is the criticism against CUET, that class 12 marks will lose importance, that only objective type assessment would be there, whether that only CBSE syllabus would be followed and NCRT syllabus would be followed, and therefore it will be discriminatory against some other boards.
Yes.
Right? These things you may know. Then after that you express your views, whatever they are. Similarly, AFSPA. Now, when you said it's based on security consideration, government must have done the assessment. Then I put a counter question that it was in actually response to the Nagaland incident. Right? So, such questions you can expect there also. They will try to rattle you, they will try to upset you and see how deeply you understand. So, you be ready so that you are not shocked by such questions. You are ready to deal with them. That is what is important.
Sulochana,
Yes, sir.
I asked you the first question about the problems of border state, right? So, I think you gave a good answer, about smuggling, illegal migration and different areas. Then also displacement. You missed, say Jammu and Kashmir area when ceasefire violation takes place. Thousands of people are moved out of their houses in temporary camps. Then you also talked about Bangladesh and northeast side, illegal migration, smuggling. So your answers were okay, but somehow you got mixed up with LOC and LAC. I wanted to see whether you understand the different borders. LOC is a temporary ceasefire line. It's not a permanent border, which is not the case in your state or in Punjab. That's an international border. It is accepted, there is no dispute. That's why you don't have firing in Rajasthan border, right? There is no firing. You have smuggling and family moving from this side to that side. All those things are there, but no firing because there is no dispute of the border. Okay.
Which force is deployed there? Do you know?
BSF.
BSF, not army.
Yes.
Okay, that is the reason. When the border is settled, then army is not deployed.
So it's international border in your Rajasthan. LAC is a claimed line, right? You said we have agreed to that line. There is no agreement. That is why we are having this problem in Ladakh today. Their perception of their border is very much inside our own boundary, where we think is our territory. So you have a LAC, line of actual control. Wherever you hold a temporary thing with the agreement that you can do patrolling up to your claimed line and go back. This for both of us, all right. So this difference you got mixed up, and if you don't know, just say I don't know, rather than trying to entangle yourself in all this, all right. Then I asked you about what can be done post-pandemic. If you read the paper some days back, the Home Minister has started Seema Darshan. That's why I gave you this option, what is happening at Wagah border and Atari border. These kind of, now they are starting Seema Darshan for tourists, our own people, so that they can go to the border, they can connect with the border. You see the kind of enthusiasm you see in Atari border, people clapping and shouting, and it creates also good revenue for the local administration, right? So that can be done in Rajasthan. People can be attracted to those locations. Then there are also forts, cultural sites, war memorial, Longwala, 1965 war. So all of these can become a source of tourist attraction, especially during the pandemic when foreigners are not coming or people are not going to those obvious destinations because of social distancing and so on and so forth. So I thought you read up upon your state and all of these kind of things, and read up also on a lot of international events. You could have been asked a number of them because you got stuck up very early, otherwise I would have asked you on Pakistan, maybe on China. Okay, so I would suggest that pick up 50, 60 issues and you have some time. Important issues. India, Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, what is the problem? How does it impact India? Bangladesh, what are the problems? What is the issue of connectivity? How do we gain from each other? Myanmar problem, West Asia. Pick up about 50, 60 issues and make short bullet point notes. 10 lines, 5 lines, or just very brief information. And get those information and see how you can come up with good opinion, which convinces the board that you understand that issue. All right, it will show that yes, you are a thinking person, you have the information as well as you think through the issue, rather than just you give some information, because that's not very important. That we have already gone through. We want to know what you think on those issues, problems. Do you have the capacity? Okay. So if you do that, I'm sure you'll do very well. You are a good candidate. Best of luck.
Thanks.
So Sulochana, I also thought you fared pretty well, and you have worked hard. That is very obvious. You have prepared. That doesn't mean that still there's not more preparation to be done, because this canvas is very large. But you have prepared very hard, and I think you did reasonably well. You communicate well, you are calm, you have a very presentable appearance. So these are all very big positives. I will point out the negative also along the way. Okay, first of all, specifically how you fared. Icebreaker was river rafting, so you're okay on that, but I don't know how you've done in Cordiala and not done grade 4 rapids, because they're all there. So obviously you don't know what is a grade 4 rapid, so you should read that up. And then I asked you what was the biggest threat that women face in the country, and you said that most important critical, you said about security. I thought it was a very good answer, and the way you put it about in the house, in society and in the workplace was very nice. Incidentally, Bhavri Devi case, you might like to have Vishakha, because it's of Rajasthan. Bhavri Devi was an Anganwadi worker, and she was raped by people of the higher caste, and the lower court had said there was delay in filing the FIR, and the accused were acquitted. It went up right to the Supreme Court, and Vishakha was that NGO that took up the cause. So that had wide-ranging implications. The contract employee, this employee, that employee, whatever it was, and then Vishakha guidelines and then the Sexual Harassment Act of 2013. So we did not get to the second, third, etc., important issues of women, but it is a good idea to prepare, and prepare in this manner. We've led through one, so you should be prepared. Something suddenly stuck in PCPNDT there, which was not really fitting into this format, but yes, it's an important one also. So you could have said not this format, but this also. And you must read the legislations for women, the court cases, and government policies. All three are distinct, and be prepared with or discussion on it also. Is it enough? Does more need to be done? Because that's going to lead up to that for my further questions. The second was biggest threat to the country. I think you were a little confused. You backtracked, did this, did that. First you said economy, and I liked that very much. That answer, it was not the usual answer, but it is a very important point of view. So with that, then you have to be prepared with, where is our inflation, where is our GDP, where is what going, etc., unemployment, etc. So, but then you backtracked because you were not sure of your figures. So then you started talking about external, internal, I don't know what it was. But there, then you should prepare. You can take any of these lines, economic, you can take internal, you can take external. Okay. So you went little round, you know that. I don't have to tell you the answers, but that was there. An offshoot of the question I was going to ask you about Article 370 and Article 371. What is the difference? I mean, why has 370 been sort of, what is the technical word to use? It's not been abrogated. A presidential order has been used to use the flexibility within that section, shall we say, or to set it aside in a way, and 371 is still there. So why, what, etc. So that's Northeast Nagaland and this Jammu Kashmir. So you can get something like that. I mean, the disturbed area thing was asked. You can get that question also. Then I did not ask economy, but you had answered, so you should prepare economy also. Then I asked your subject. So you see, subject may not be a straight question. It may just be a presence of mind question like I asked. A botanist, I mean, what will I ask about cell parenchyma or this, that or the other? It was basically, mythology. I took the mythology route. Yes, you guessed correctly, but the culprit was what that came out in the Amrit Manthan. You know about the Samudra Manthan? Don't know? The Kumbh Mela, the background, you don't know? Please read up. You must read up that. Mythology, the gods and the Asurs had the war, and they agreed that they will churn the oceans, celestial oceans, and whatever comes up will be divided. So one of the things was the culprit, which promptly was taken by Indra, as he took everything. And the culprits in our mythology are Parijat, Parijat, Harsingar, the white scented flowers, banyan and mulberry. And the tree under which Adi Shankaracharya got enlightenment was mulberry, and the Buddha was people. You must know that. I mean, somebody can. I was asked on my subject a presence of mind question, not a direct history question, but presence of mind question. So that adds value plus. Then stem cell research, don't guess. If you don't know, don't guess. That sort of took away the impression. Stem cell research is something, it is nothing to do with natural, unnatural. It is research which is treating things that are untreatable. Somebody's got paralysis, things like that. And there are three sources of stem cells. One is adults, bone marrow. One is your bone marrow, cord blood, placenta, etc., and one is from the fetus. So the ethical issues are on the fetus, because they are going to take cells from there and can destroy the fetus. So when does life begin? Is it point of after life begins? Can you do that for the sake of somebody else? You kill somebody. And secondly, also there is no consent taken, because when you do something, the issue of consent is there. So how can you take consent? Has life already begun, and then you are harvesting cells, and the fetus, if life has begun, it dies. That's the thing. But issue is basically don't guess. So I was going around little on the area to see your general knowledge in a larger canvas, sort of with your subject. So it will be worthwhile to prepare that, because that adds a lot of value. The bread and butter, of course, is current issues, China, India, this LAC, LOC, all that stuff, economy, CUT, all these things that have come out in the papers, and law and order, AFSPA and all. But the icing on the cake is other things also. So you have the time, fortunately. 4th May, you still have about more than 2 weeks, and you've done certain areas of preparation well. I think you know your weak areas already. So you do prepare, and the bullet points is a very good idea. You do that, pros, cons, opinions. So there you are better. Where you've prepared, it shows you're very comfortable and you come across very well. But I would rate your chances of coming up very, very high. But the night before, please sleep well so that your mind is alert. Don't overdo it then. You be yourself and do well.
Thank you.
So Sulochana, already you've got a lot of very valuable input. Please work on these lines. I would suggest you see that questions would be coming largely from DAF, right? From current affairs, from your subject, job profile that you don't have at the moment. So anyway, broad spectrum, these are the places. And please realize that they are judging you on personality, not on knowledge. The knowledge part is done and dusted. Now, questions are being asked so that it can lead to a useful discussion, wide-ranging discussion. So that's the only purpose of asking you questions, not to test whether you know X or Y fact. That will lead only to, that leads them to opinions. And to check whether you formulated opinions with exercising your mindset, or you just saying something out of rote. Now, what are these personality traits, officer-like traits they are called? So, well-rounded personality, balanced viewpoint, refusal to get rattled, self-confidence, that stems from self-confidence and self-belief, awareness of oneself, state, nation and the world, then integrity quotient, no bluffing or guessing. And here, I think you fell short. If you don't know, you don't know. It's not a crime. You can sit here and I can sit there and you can ask me 12 questions. I may not know the answer to 8, 9 of them. There have been cases in which people have not been able to answer 8 out of 10 questions and gone on to get 92%. Right? So don't let that rattle you again. It's again, sometimes they throw questions just to check your poise quotient, right? Then lucidity, proper articulation, conceptual clarity, all these are being tested. Quick thinking, whether you respond, you can think on your feet, right? Ability to answer crisply, to the point and hit the bullseye. You don't have to speak too much, you don't have to speak too little. It's an art, and that you can cultivate by practicing, not taking too many mocks, because then you'll get confused. But by practicing, thinking that someone is out there, they'll ask this question, how will I respond? Do it in a kind of real life situation. You can even videograph yourself and see how you've done. Coming to my question specifically, now, there are things which just stand out in your dive. They jump out at you. So if you are unprepared for those, or if you are not fully prepared for those, then it gives a slightly bad impression to the interview board. So like Sulochana, I asked, this is your service, your first point, your service provider. This, right? Type actress Sulochana, you will get everything. You type Miranda, you get everything. You stopped at 2 when there are 3 aspects. So, the idea is that you give a well-rounded answer which takes into account all aspects, that creates the impact. Whereas if otherwise people will think that this is a half-boiled answer and they will not be satisfied. Then I asked you about wildlife sanctuary and national parks. Then again, type out here and you get 6 differences. You just gave me one. So, after that, the kind of follow-up question which is there, that needs to be addressed then fully. So, if in the beginning you hesitate, in the beginning you are not able to give the correct picture, then the succeeding question, which is normally an opinion question, then you are unable to formulate a good enough answer for that. Artificial intelligence, I talked about primitive tribal groups. Once again, you kind of withdrew from the discussion. When I said they became lotus eaters, then you didn't have anything to respond to. You could have said that yes, that is always a danger, so we have to walk the fine line between providing too many resources and too little. Be quick.
But
Quick
sir,
thinking.
I thought that I don't know about this issue. Like I did not.
So that was again a presence of mind kind of question. Even if you don't know about it, there is common sense. I mean, I am saying that the government provided everything and they became lotus eaters, right? What is a lotus eater? Someone who spends the whole day long doing nothing, because he's got everything, he's getting food and everything from the government, right? So think quickly on your feet, come up with a response. AI and fourth IR, you have to have conceptual clarity. Fourth IR is defined in a particular way. It's right here again. Blurring of boundaries between the physical, digital and biological worlds. Just one sentence and you nailed it. If instead you go around waffling about use of new technologies, this, that and the other, that's not the definition, right? So just be prepared. Bullet points, cut, you've nailed it, and after that an opinion question comes, you react to that. And I was frankly very disappointed at your biodiversity hotspots. As a botany student, you can't get away with that. No. The very good impression you had created till then suddenly collapsed. Right? You have to be on your subject, on DAF, current affairs, 3 things. You have to be very solid, particularly on DAF and subject. So you have so much going for you. At such a young age you have cracked it. It's a heaven sent opportunity. Don't let it go waste. And we are very confident you will not let it go waste. Just work on these lines, go there with a positive mindset, don't guess, and you will do very well. Best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
Any question you have, Sulochana?
Sir, about opinion-based question. For example, that marriageable age 21. So I have this personal opinion that in Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, these child marriages should be made null and void. They should not be given a marriage certificate. So is it a right stand? Like government has not done this. So should
See, in this act which they have brought before Parliament for raising the age to 21, the provision is that if a girl is married below 21, then on attaining 21, within 5 years of that, she can ask for annulment of marriage. This provision is there.
Sir,
And I presume, although I am not sure, but I presume that if legally age is made 21, then marriage certificate will not be issued below that age.
Also, isn't registration of marriages compulsory now?
ma'am, but for child marriages, they do
No.
not.
What I'm saying is, what the chairman has just said, that certain things are implicit in that. Also, as I understand, we can check up on that. I had read this in some other context, that if registration is compulsory, if these are there, then automatically it means that marriages which do not fulfill those conditions
Will not be
are
certified.
not legal.
They will not get the certificate.
Are not legal. You can check up the position further, but by inference, that is what it means.
Any other question?
Sir, about the dress.
Dress.
You would wear a salwar suit or you will wear a sari?
Ma'am, this one.
You're comfortable in this. Oh, very nice. Nicely pinned up cotton. It's looking modest and nice color and everything. Sari is always value added, but if you're not comfortable in a sari, don't wear it. It's okay. You'll be wearing this particular one or
Ma'am, this particular.
this particular one. It's okay. I think it's fine.
Don't you think, Aradhana, she should wear a sari?
If she's not comfortable in
No,
a sari,
because
then-
she's so young.
they'll say come back later when you're older.
You will appear to be a student rather than.
Are you
an
very
officer.
uncomfortable in a sari?
Yes. Ma'am, I have never worn a sari.
Then I would say that
Then it's okay.
you're comfortable wearing. I had also really not worn, but I pinned myself up, I did all that. But then it's your call, and you're looking modest, decent, everything. But sari is always value plus. It has a different aura, shall we say. But if you've never worn, it's better not to be uncomfortable with your clothes and fussing around, etc., etc. If you can practice 1 or 2 times before that, pin it up, wear a nice kota cotton. You are from the state of Kota. That's the best thing to wear. But if you still don't feel comfortable, it's fine. It's important to look decent, modest, neat. The collar must be ironed. It must be ironed properly. Otherwise, very good.
Sulochana, do you know? Sorry.
Can I just add? I forgot to tell you about this. Do you read the Indian Express?
Yes, sir.
This is the kind of page which you need to focus on. Gives you all those bullet points. Hindu's got text and context. Do you read?
Yes.
And there again, that page is important. And do you watch Beyond? World is one.
Sometimes.
Make it a habit because it will keep you in touch with what's happening around you. Sorry, sir.
No, Sulochana, I was saying, I forgot to guide you about how you will enter the room and see, you will knock at the door, ask for chairman's permission to enter the room. Once permitted, you walk to the chair and then wish the chairman, and if there is a lady member in the board, then you wish her separately. Rest of the members you can just nod at. Okay. Then you will sit when you are asked to sit. By and large, it will happen that the chairman himself will say, Sulochana, sit down. So then you can sit there. Okay? And remember, if your interview is in the afternoon or morning?
Mornings.
Morning. So good morning is all right then.
Read the paper that day.
Yes, sir.
You want to say?
All the best.
These lines that you said, you'll be the first lady cabinet secretary.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Best of luck.